Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you're calling in from. We are really thrilled to have you here with Best You Career Connectors. We will be letting people in throughout the next 5 minutes and are thrilled that you are here. Get your phone, get your pen and paper. Go ahead and feel free to take screenshots. We will be recording and are recording this session, so we will be sending this out afterward for those people that were not able to make it. We welcome all of you, and we'd love for you to put your LinkedIn, if you feel comfortable, in the chat. We also would love to understand what kind of role you're searching for, if you are searching for a role, and then if you are employed, how you are helping others with professional development. So go ahead and do that while we continue to let people in. Joshua, nice to see you. Hi, Daniela. Hi, Clint. Hi, Terry and Susan and Octavio. Really nice to have you here. Mickey. Hey, Mickey. It's really much easier for us to do webinars when we can see people, not just black boxes. So we don't care if you are eating lunch, eating breakfast, having a Mai Tai, having a cocktail. We do not care, right? Just come on. Hi, Clint. Really nice to see you. Susan, thank you for coming on. Daniela, Laura, please come on if you can. Fantastic. Good to see all of you. Susan, I like your background. That's pretty.
Thank you.
Hi, Terry. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Welcome, everyone. We have over 50 RSVPs, so we're probably expecting around 26, 27. Whoever shows up is who was meant to be here. If I have not met you, I'm Chelle Johnson. I am the CEO of Best You Talent Advisors and also Best You Career Connectors. We will be letting people in as they come in, and we're really blessed to have Donna Shannon with us today, who I will be introducing momentarily. Thanks for spending your Monday morning with us. Am I starting to see anything in the chat? Good. Awesome. Yvette has put in a blog that we're going to be sending out soon. It's the job search does not have to be scary. And we kind of had some fun with that, like trick or treat. No one's going to be tricking you today. We're going to be treating you to Donna Shannon. And thank you for putting your info in. Okay. Hi, Laura. Good to see you. Octavio, I want to see that Rottweiler in person. Hi, Laura. I think that's a Rottweiler. It might be something different. I don't know. Okay. Well, welcome to October. It certainly is an interesting time of year with lots of different things going on in the economy, which I will also talk about. Yvette, will you grab others that need to be admitted through here? Awesome. Thank you. I am going to go ahead and share my my slides and let me know when you can see them. I see some new faces and some familiar faces and some longtime friends that I wasn't expecting. So nice to have all of you here, and you know who you are. We owe each other a phone call. Today we're going to have Donna Shannon talk about the smart way to use AI for your job search. And AI is becoming a topic of conversation for so many. And so they and I will be really focusing on the best way for us to provide you insight for your job search leveraging AI. Yvette Bell is my right-hand person. She is out of Truckee, California, and everything you see via social media and my slide decks is Yvette. So if you are looking for a logo, need anything with social media, anything with branding and graphics, she is your person. If I have not met you personally, welcome to Best You Career Connectors. We started as a meetup group, Colorado Career Connectors, back in March of 2021. And we've helped over 5,000 people in the past 3.5 years, which blows my mind, in professional development. We have helped our clients and our community earn over $7 million in total compensation increases, advancements, and promotions. And I personally have coached over 160 people in the past 5 years. I'm not only an executive coach, but my team, I have 2 recruiters that work with me. We are now hiring. I just hired an HR representative for a local affordable housing group. And one of my clients, who is a chief HR officer, just got a 25% increase in pay, and she will be working for a global mining company. So those are some examples of when you find the right community, when you find the right people, no matter who they are, align with them, find an accountability partner, find a group that really resonates with you, that will help you along the way, because job searching can be lonely. Being in the wrong role can be lonely. Being an entrepreneur can be lonely. So find your community, focus on how what we state and the takeaways and the tips and the job advice. Find what sticks with you. As some people say, take what you want and leave the rest. And we are here. We will be providing more topics and webinars for you in the November timeframe. In November, we're going to have networking and how to show gratitude in networking. And I have my good friend B. Sonnendecker, who's coming in to chat with me about that topic. She has started the networking group Suite C, and I am one of the exclusive recruiters and executive coaches in that group. In December, we have Lisa Carmen, who's going to be coming on and light up your LinkedIn. And then in January, we have 2 topics that are really aligning with your values, starting the year off right, and actually dressing for success, finding the right colors, so we bring content that is bleeding edge. And then I also am arranging for a behind the recruitment curtain for all of those who want to hear more from recruiters and recruiters who are hiring. If I haven't met you, I'm Chelle. I know it looks weird. I go by she, her pronouns. And we are here to focus on your development. So if you do have questions above and beyond the smart way to use AI, let us know. I am extremely lucky to have Donna joining us. Donna is the president and master career director for Personal Touch Career Services. I haven't been checking the chat, but I'm sure that we can provide their LinkedIn. They are the president of Personal Touch Career Services and hold a NCOP in master career coaching. And, I got to know Donna very peripherally through the Society of Human Resource Management. And we would touch base about once a year. And I really love what they are putting out there for content. So the Down and Dirty Job Search is one of their books. They provide brown bag lunches through Meet In. They're a member of the National Resume Writers Association, and recently actually just took on a national position with the Resume Writers Association. So you are going to hear from one of the best in resume writing and career development. So Donna, I am going to turn it over to you. Welcome, and thank you for spending time with us today. I hope everyone is able to get all of the tips and takeaways needed. Okay, go ahead, Donna. I'm going to stop sharing and allow you to jump in.
That's right, because of course I have a PowerPoint, because there's nothing more exciting than a PowerPoint, right?
Right? Let's get busy with the PowerPoint.
Yay! So, good morning, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, and it's starting to get some fall weather around here in the Denver area, which is what I'm living for. So, I'll try not to be too redundant in talking about me and my business, but yeah, so overall, I have like total 20 years of career coaching experience. So I started teaching job searching in 2004, and I was doing a lot of HR and recruitment back then. And Honestly, I was just tired of seeing qualified applicants getting cut because they didn't understand how the process worked. So that was kind of like my mission in getting involved with all this. So, as you heard, I've had a couple of books out there. Been a national speaker. I do have a team of people that works for me. So, all of our writers and coaches are based here in the United States. They came with lots of years of experience. Usually, they've been with my company for 10 to, yeah, I think we're getting a couple that are getting close to 11 years now. So, these are just four of my staff members. And these, of course, are our most important staff members. So Felix D. Katz is our director of finance. Georgie is our director of customer relations. If they look a little weird to you, yes, they are missing legs. So Felix has 2.5 legs. His half leg is on the back there. And Georgie has 3 legs. So they understand how job seekers feel to not have a leg to stand on. Okay, I promise that's the only cheesy pun for today. There'll probably be ones that aren't so cheesy, but hey, they're cute cats. So there you go. As far as like our resume writing services, we work with professionals everywhere from entry levels all the way through the C-suites. And our big award-winning program is called the Down and Dirty Job Search. It does have a workbook coming out. There are advanced copies available now if you ask me nicely and give me money. But mostly it's also a coaching program and an online course. And we did receive a Career Innovation Award from the Career Directors International for this. One of the things I do offer to people is we do a free 30-minute consultation, either with myself or Dia Klein. We do a resume review, take a look at your LinkedIn profile, kind of talk about your strategies, and see what you can do to improve those. So there you go. That's all this, swarmy shit, I promise. So we are going to be talking about AI today, and here's my big disclaimer. I'm not an AI guru. Now, I am an expert on LinkedIn. That's what that NCOPE, Nationally Certified Online Profile Expert, means. But I'm also not an early adopter. So consider this like your introduction to AI and the different kind of things that you can use with it. But we're also talking about smart ways to use AI, which means we're going to talk about the pitfalls as well. So I've got some fun surveys we're going to do. So get your phones out, be ready to scan some QR codes so you can participate in these questions, because I want to see how you are using AI today. So the first one here, you can just type in a word or two. You can put in more words after you put in your first one. Just scan the QR code and we'll be able to see how you feel about AI today. Is this something that's exciting for you? Is it confusing or overwhelming? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it the Terminator coming to get us all? Lost. Interesting. I can understand that feeling. Yep, definitely it's a game changer in many ways, both good and bad. Yeah, confused a little bit. It's interesting for sure. An idea generator. Yep, I use it a lot for the idea generation part. Yeah, more than one person is a little bit more confused about this whole AI stuff or frustrated. Yeah, I can definitely see how it can get frustrating as well. Hesitant. Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, so let's move on to our next one. So, how comfortable are you with AI? Would you consider yourself an expert, just proficient, somewhat proficient, stumbling through it, a total beginner? Or are you a blank slate? And I'm not surprised to see a lot of people are still stumbling through AI. And it can be rough too, because it is constantly evolving and changing. There's new tools coming out all the time. And just when we think we've got one thing mastered, hello, next week it changes, right? So, yeah, thank you everybody for your thoughts. So we've got some people somewhat proficient. Sounds good. Now, how are you currently using AI? Are you using it to write your resumes and cover letters? If you're applying to jobs automatically, are you just tweaking the keywords in your resume? Outreach messages for stuff like LinkedIn, your social media posts, finding key decision makers? Not surprised to see some people are using it on their content. And I'll be honest, I like to use it for outreach messages on LinkedIn myself. If you're using it for finding those key decision makers, excellent. And of course, I mean, we do a lot of resumes and cover letters. I'm not going to berate you for using AI to help write your resumes and your cover letters, because certainly that is one of the great ways to use it, but you have to have some understanding on how it works. All right, so you can put your phone down now unless you're taking notes. So let's talk about a few surprising facts about AI, because it's actually deeply impacting your job search now, even if you're not directly using it yourself. So the AI and the machine learning, the MLs, have already been part of your job search now for years. What? Yeah. Specifically on LinkedIn, if you've ever noticed that suddenly when you go and you look in the job section on LinkedIn, it's making job suggestions that have nothing to do with what you actually do, or it's very adjacent, or it's for lower level positions and things like this. It's because LinkedIn itself is reacting to the keywords within your profile. So for example, if you never update your skills from when you started it 10 years ago, and there's a bunch of entry-level skills in there, that's why it's probably offering you some entry or mid-level jobs, because you're not curating the keywords within your LinkedIn profile. It also will use those same keywords to pull the recruiters to your profile or not. This is why it's so important to know what you are saying and what to take out to get better reactions and better visibility with recruiters. Here's the one that's the kicker, that machine learning is watching what you are doing and tries to predict your behavior. So for example, I would do a lot of work with clients, so we'll look at all kinds of weird random jobs that have absolutely nothing to do with me as a career coach. And then all of a sudden LinkedIn is making suggestions. It's like, oh, check out this project manager job, or check out this software development job, Donna. We think you want it because you just looked at stuff like this. It's like, no, actually, I don't. It's just clicking off things based on what I'm actually doing. Here's the one that really sucks, is LinkedIn might be using your content within your profile to help populate other people's information. You ever see these things that are going on with LinkedIn now, where it's saying if you've got the premium account, it will help you tweak the resume or your LinkedIn profile to the job itself? Part of that base of what it's using to make suggestions for bullet points, it's coming from the vast pool of profiles, including your own, which is being used on other people's suggestions too. There is a way to help control this and slow it down. So here's one of my big secrets for the day. You have to go into your data privacy and your privacy settings. If you've never checked your privacy settings in LinkedIn, specifically the data privacy, go explore it today. For all of your settings on LinkedIn, by the way, when it gets into your privacy, the default is wide open so that you're sharing everything with everybody in the universe all the time. That's the default. If you want to have better control of your privacy, come in here, explore the settings. But specifically, I want to show you this one under the data privacy. And it is, do you allow other applications to pull your content? What? And this Microsoft Word here, it's kind of like our appendix of privacy controls, because who knows if it's going to go away soon or not. But for today, it's still active, it's still here. So if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of this page and you click on what does this Microsoft Word thing mean, it says it'll help you create effective resumes by pulls your content suggestions included on your profile. That's not just for you. That's for other people too. It's going into the large language model or the database that entire Microsoft Office is using to help populate yours and other things. So just saying, you might want to check that one off and keep your data a little bit more closely guarded. All right. So there are some common AI platforms that, well, for this, I'm not going to dive into them all because now we know there are literally thousands, but we'll talk about ChatGPT. Bard is very similar. LinkedIn, Grammarly, JobScan, and a few of the application submission platforms. So let's talk a moment on should you trust it? Because I'll be honest, I'm a little paranoid, but I'm not necessarily wrong. So just keep that in mind. So first and foremost is the content integrity. So ChatGPT doesn't like to admit when it's wrong or when it doesn't know something. So it's just going to make stuff up, also known as lying, but the kind term that they use is hallucinating. I think it's just lying. It's kind of like a kid. I know I used to do this as a kid where you had to write a paper for school, but you didn't research anything. So you're just going to say a bunch of stuff, but say it with a lot of authority. Yeah, that's kind of what it's going to do for you. This is why you need to have expert knowledge to counteract and recognize when something is not true or not being said the best way. And that could be either an expert in resume writing or an expert in your field. And I'll show you some examples about that when we get into content creation. This is an interesting quote from Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI and developer of ChatGPT, that I probably trust the answers that come out of ChatGPT the least of anybody on Earth. Now, that quote's about 1.5 years old, and we have seen that ChatGPT and some of the others are getting better about pulling in current data. They're starting to interact with search engines, but again, you need to double check everything coming out of this stuff with expert knowledge. Also, there's the whole concept of Gigo, which actually I remember this coming out in the 80s when I was in middle school. It stands for garbage in, garbage out. So if you're using bad prompts or bad source material, you're going to get bad results. But here's the one that you may not think about, that bad source data is a problem. So where does ChatGPT get all this information to create fresh content from? Well, it pulls from large language models, meaning it is just the tons and tons and tons of information that's gone into the back end for it to crunch through to try to create content. And that's stuff that you didn't even create yourself. So one point on this is, believe it or not, the vast majority of resumes suck. So when ChatGPT or any of these other platforms is trying to write content for you, it's coming from bad resumes, even if your own resume is not bad. So just keep that in mind, and that's why you need to have some intelligence on how you use the artificial intelligence with your content. So in case you're wondering, was that LLMs and Gen AI, if you just to clarify that. So LLM is a large language model. So it uses these massively large data sets to understand, summarize, generate, and predict new content. So if you've heard some of the authors like George R.R. Martin, Terry Pratchett, A few others are a little bit annoyed because all their copyrighted works have been used to teach ChatGPT and other LLMs how to write. So if you told ChatGPT, please write me a story in the style of George A.R.R. Martin, it's going to do that because that information has been fed into it. Gen AI stands for generative AI. So that usually means specifically architect to make it generate text-based content. It'll also do this for images. This insane image with so much stuff on it, I did create that in ChatGPT in about 5 seconds. I admit it, because I suck at graphic design. But I think there's a hell of a lot going on, but that's just me. So, like I said, and remember this, because it's total giggle, the vast majority of resumes online are bad. Especially true for cover letters. So when you're using Gen AI to create your resume, it may be perpetuating these bad habits. The other thing here is I like to warn people about is, do you actually want to feed that monster? Because ChatGPT and the others are open source software. That means anything you put into it goes into the database and into its learning matrix. So if you have proprietary information from your company, don't put your contact information if you're having it write, content for your resume for you. Don't do everything dumping in there, right? If it's something you need to keep private, don't put it in there. That's when we have these privacy concerns. Now, if you're like in a confidential job search, keep your details masked. So don't not just your contact information, like maybe don't put in your title, your company name, your date, and then make it generate all the content for that, because that's also making it available to other people by its very nature of being open source technology. Okay, let's talk about these automated application systems. I know a few of you are using this one already. So again, we want to streamline things, but we also have to keep in mind privacy. So how many of you have heard of like the spray and pray method when it comes to job searching? The whole concept was spray and pray, which I, by the way, do not recommend. It's that concept of job searching is a numbers game where you just have to apply to as many jobs as possible. And eventually the odds will be in your favor and you're going to get some interviews. So with numbers like this, it's not uncommon when I talk to people who have done the spray and pray method where they applied to 100 to 200 jobs to end up with 2 to 4 individual interviews. That's really bad return rates. That's why we don't recommend this. It's literally throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks. So you also don't get to curate the jobs that you're applying to. It's like literally whatever I get is what I get instead of a strategic approach. So now, especially this year, we've seen where people are using these automated online job application AI platforms to absolutely flood companies with applications. This is especially true for remote work. I think some of the worst ones we're seeing it is anything IT related, because of course IT people are smart and they understand systems, right? It's like, oh, this is a system, it's a numbers game. I can work with that. So note this, I pulled this job on the 19th, so Saturday, this past Saturday, October 19th, 2024. This job had been posted for 3 days, and it says it has over 100 applicants. Also, it's a fully remote position. It's open to anybody in the United States. These ones are always going to attract the most attention. So let's see how many people applied to this. I do want to point out qualifications here. You need 4+ years of experience in software development for this job. Also, it's paying over $125,000. So, super attractive 6-figure position, right? And they got 2,950 applicants in 3 days. Ouch. Of that, 54% of them are entry level and therefore not even qualified for the job. By the way, this is part of my premium account on LinkedIn that allows me to see these insights. So that's almost 200 in the past day. And this was a Saturday. So how are they doing this? People are just cranking out things with their AI tools, and they're not really considering curating their applications or things like this. So a little bit scary. And what this also means is qualified applicants are likely to get lost in the flood of all the unqualified applicants. Makes all of our jobs in job searching and recruiting much harder. So let's talk about what some of these platforms are in case you've heard of them or in case you haven't. So Simplify.jobs is one of these. By the way, it says Copilot here. I want to point out that AI content generation within Microsoft Office and Word calls itself Copilot. A lot of these AI platforms are also saying they are your Copilot for your job search. Just understand there's 2 different terms if you keep seeing Copilot on Office, but on other places, they are not integrated. They're just using the same word. I like to point that out because it's a little bit confusing unless you understand this. So Simplify, it's a paid platform. It'll autofill your job applications. You can tailor it. It says it's all for free. Yeah, you can do this much with it for free. And then the costs ramp up very fast if you want to do anything beyond the most tiniest thing. There's also high volume applications. JobHire.ai is, you're probably going to see it if you do anything Google search on, hey, I want to find an AI job application. They are pumping out their advertising like crazy. Now, again, there's one that says, hey, you can start for free. This is like what I got when I started a free account just a few days ago. And immediately it's pumping me, you can't really do anything unless you start paying for it. It's $23 a week or $99 deal for maybe a month or something. I didn't look at the prices more than that. So what it does is you set up your parameters and it starts applying to jobs automatically up to 200 a day without you looking at them. So even with setting up the parameters, sometimes it'll ignore your parameters in favor of cranking out applications. I also warn people that it's going to apply to scam jobs for you too, because there's very little oversight. Now, yes, it will let you look at the jobs and you can say, yep, apply to this one, don't apply to that one. But the problem is, if it's sitting in your queue for 3 days and you did not approve it or knock it out, it's going to apply to it anyways. It's like, what? Yeah, it's true. It's not real fun, but that's just kind of what's going. Mhm.
Hey, Donna.
Yeah.
What do you mean by scam jobs? Can you tell us more about that?
So a scam job is like a job that's not real, but it's set up by scammers to get things like your contact information, or it'll say, hey, congratulations, we want to interview you, fill out our complete application, and we need your social security number and all the, yeah, so that's what scam jobs are.
Do you have any idea of how many out of all the job postings, what percentage or like how many are scam jobs? And how should our audience look out for them?
So I can't cite the exact percentage because different platforms are going to attract more scams than others. For example, ZipRecruiter has more scams than LinkedIn. And the reason for that is because with you post a job on ZipRecruiter, Not only is it getting posted there, I can crank it out to 100 other job sites for either no money or very little. So that's why it's very attractive to scammers, because they can flood everywhere and not have much cost in their own. This is another reason why the spray and pray method is not that great. So I will also verify a job that if I have any suspicions, like if they're asking for too much information, they're pressing me for an interview before I've even spoken to them, they're asking for financial information before I've had an interview. Sometimes if it's a job with like a real company, but the salary is way inflated for what would normally be paid, go back to the company's own website and see if it's posted there, if it's really real, or was it, those are just some of the tactics. I actually have a couple of different articles on my blog about all the things you can do to protect yourself from scam jobs. Thank you for the question. All right. So you can also get a Chrome extension. These are, even more of these are coming out all the time. I hate Job Wizard the absolute most. It literally applies to thousands of jobs a day. I mean, look at that. Their own website says designed for spray and pray. Yeah, so yeah, that includes those scam jobs. And remember, I am paranoid. So just be careful about any of these autofill job applications. Yeah. So here's the other problem with this. Remember I said we're getting flooded with disqualified applicants. 83% of applicants are admitting they use some form of AI in their applications or resumes, and that includes lying or inflating their skills. So I was speaking with one of our recruiter contacts that I have, and he was actually doing a presentation on this. And he was saying, yep, he was going through an interview with somebody, and was asking her, hey, how would you do this specific function within Salesforce? And she goes, oh, I don't know Salesforce at all. And he's like, well, you marked that you were an expert in Salesforce, which is part of our requirements for the job. And she quite proudly told him, well, I used AI to write my resume for me. So not only was she lying, not only was she caught, she was proud of it, and she completely wasted the recruiter's time and stole that spot from somebody who was actually qualified for the position. Does AI make lying easy? Yes. Should we do it? No. So here's a quote from one of my clients. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but this is a gal that we've worked with in the past 6 months. So she only applied to 13 jobs total. 12 of them were cold and one from somebody she knew on LinkedIn. So she got 3 first-round interviews and did 3 interviews with the company that she was hired for, and she did a sample project for them. So if you wonder what's a better return rate on your applications, what should you be hitting? If we know that 2 interviews out of 100 applications is bad, that's a 2% return rate. The number you want to hit is 1 to 3 initial interviews for every 10 applications you submit. So you're looking for a 10 to 30% return rate on your applications. So that's why spray and pray doesn't work, and curated strategic job searches do. Okay, let's talk about keywords, because we know we need keywords to get through our applicant tracking systems or the ATS or the screening computers. And yeah, I want to show you how to do this efficiently so you don't waste a whole bunch of time. So sometimes I and my team will use ChatGPT to help us brainstorm basic keywords or high-level keywords. So if I throw in a prompt to say, what are the screening keywords for a career coach? It'll show me variations of the keywords here. But notice this is brainstorming. It's not pulling from a specific job posting. So while these keywords are great and can help populate my skills and content on LinkedIn, it's not necessarily curated to a specific job. Make sense? Gotcha. So for this one, I put in the prompt. This was a client that we were actually worked with for a commercial pilot, and he was wanting to get another commercial pilot role, specifically like in the luxury market. So the prompt I gave it is, you're a job seeker looking for that commercial pilot role. Please create the list of screening keywords yet a major airline would use to screen its candidates. So then we get all these very technical terms, right? Getting better. Even better is I copy and pasted a specific job posting that he was interested in. And it's like, okay, find me the keywords. So ta-da, it made the list. Huzzah, right? Looks great. I'm going to show you the problem with this one, and it has to do with industry norms. So this is the resume we created for this person who actually absolutely hated it, despised it. He was questioning why I was putting in all these stupid keywords. He didn't get it. He didn't understand it, and just was like really, really upset with us. And why? Here's the thing. I tried to show him, if anybody's here familiar with JobScan, you're using JobScan already. What I love about JobScan is, unlike ChatGPT, which tries to be clever and smart, JobScan works exactly like the ATS. Same logic, same patterns. So when I copy and pasted the actual job description with the resume, it'll tell me that match score survival rates. So we need a 60 to 70% match. And it will show me the exact skills that we're missing from the resume itself in comparison to the job description. So this was like the initial resume before I actually wrote it, right? Because I was nailing the keywords with this. So his own resume had a really low match rate, below 20%. But niche jobs don't care. That's why he was mad with us. So that's just something to keep in mind, that industry knowledge, if you know all your experience speaks for itself and you're not going through an ATS, that's your whole kicker. So for this client, this is the same client who I cited earlier. So yes, she was paying for JobScan monthly. So she did find it helped her streamline her tweaking process. So it was taking her about our targeted 30 to 45 minutes per job, which is what we recommend. Also, she started with a professionally written resume, so that makes tweaking a lot easier and able to hit that 30 to 40-minute time frame.
Donna,
Yeah.
you said 30 to 45 minutes?
Yeah. So if you've taken like hours to adjust your resume for a specific job, that's probably too much time and you needed a better base resume to begin with. Okay, so now let's talk about writing. Finally. Okay, now I'm going to say, but first, always have my warnings because remember, I'm paranoid. So there are other plugins on ChatGPT to do specific things. And like I said, Copilot is for your Office resume builder within Microsoft Word itself. So these samples are coming from ChatGPT. So our client here, she was using AI to help specifically with her cover letters, her social media posts, and a little bit on her resume, not much. And she found that AI resumes and cover letters don't come close to what we did, no matter how detailed the prompt she entered. I know it's very braggy, but that's the importance of having the solid base resume combined with expert knowledge, combined with your own self-knowledge. So that's why I only look at ChatGPT as a starting point. So now if you're creating a lot of communications out, like your networking invitations, your cover letter tweaks. Those are going to be your best uses for your AI. And sometimes that's exactly what I'm using for those kind of things too. So you need good prompts. Here's the main tips to get better results. So number one, tell ChatGPT what it is. So literally tell it, you are a job seeker who wants to write a cover letter for an accountant job. Then tell it it's the main points you wanted to hit. So this one I only picked 2 for the sample. 5 years of experience at CenturyLink, the Gap, AP, AR, journal entries, general ledger. And then tell it the tone. So I want this one to be a formal business letter. So here's the result I got. It is very stereotypical of what HR would receive for a cover letter. And by the way, HR knows you're doing this. We did a survey of HR folks in 2017 to find out how important they thought cover letters were. And back then, only 50% of HR folks valued cover letters at all. Now that ChatGPT is on the scene, that has definitely shrunk a whole lot. And another reason why we're seeing a vast increase of online applications where you cannot even enter a cover letter because they're just assuming that people wrote it with chat, especially if it's very dry, boring, standardized cover letters that they've hated for years. Remember? It's pulling from a database of bad samples, and that's why it sounds like everybody else. So if you need something in a pinch, like they're requiring it for the job application and you don't want to spend tons of time on it, this will work. But we can also tell ChatGPT to improve it. So yeah, our client here, she used some of this to help with those keywords for the thank you letters after the interviews. And then she tweaked the bullet points within it. But one of the things that I like to do is, like, if you have something like this, the next prompt you can give it is like add more humor or make it more casual or pull in this specific metric. And then you're going to get a better result on those kind of cover letters and things like that. So let's talk about these networking messages, because if you're all the time, when I am working with somebody on coaching them for their job search, and especially for our down and dirty job search, people get frozen in that analysis paralysis. You went to all this effort, you found the hiring manager, your future boss on LinkedIn, and then they don't know what to say. And then they sit on it for 3 days, and then they go, oh, it's too late now, and they do nothing. You don't want to waste your effort. It is better to have a short, sweet, and to the point message to get it out there, start the conversation, make the connection, then build the relationship instead of sweating about having it perfect. And that's why AI can help you with this. So remember, we're going to use our prompts. We're going to tell it what you are. So you are a job seeker looking for a job at CenturyLink. Write a 200-character direct message for LinkedIn, which will be sent to the director of finance. Notice I gave it character limits. I said the platform. I said who it's going to. So there it is, that very generic standard thing, right? Snooze fest, not that wonderful. So now we can make it better. This is the one where I want to make it also a direct email. So please make it less than 100 words. Mention that I have a resume attached. It's not fabulous, but it'll get it done, because sometimes you just got to get it done. Now, with these basic networking ones, this one is so formal, you know? I hope this message finds you well. I'm a fellow professional in finance based in Arvada, Colorado. I came across your profile and was impressed with your background in accounting. Uh, with nearly 20 years of experience as a career coach and resume writer, I love learning about people in other fields. Um, yeah, okay. I did go for the casual tone. I did go for what I wanted to do. I want to set up an informational interview. Why did it say I'm a career coach and resume writer? Because I've already set my overall parameters in ChatGPT. It knows who I am, and it tries to cite back to that unless I tell it differently. So this is the one where I'd said, hey, let's add some more humor into this thing. So it might go a little bit too far in the other direction. So again, using your own voice to add to it. Like, I'm a fellow number cruncher based in the quirky world of Arvada, Colorado. It seems we both share a passion for making sense of financial mysteries. Now, I might not be as good with numbers as I am with punchlines, and my side gig is a stand-up comic, but hey, who doesn't love a good laugh? Okay, that went way off the rails. I would never send that, right? But if I'm looking for brainstorming and I'm trying to just get out of the analysis paralysis, that's where it can help me out. And I will do this too. Sometimes I will just throw in the most ridiculous prompt in there or refinement for my own amusement, number one, but also for me to go, all right, yeah, okay, that's attention getting, but that's real stupid. I can do one better. And then I take it over back from the computers. So anyways, I also have to point this out about LinkedIn's premium tools, because if you've got LinkedIn Premium, this is one of the reasons why it's a better investment now than it ever was before. It's starting to offer AI writing prompts and assistance with message creation directly in LinkedIn itself. Again, it's a little bit of giggle. Well, it's a lot of giggle going on, but breaking through that barrier of the analysis paralysis, not knowing where to start, these things can help. So you can get everything from help with your writing the posts, to your messages, to your help with tweaking your resume. Again, resumes are going to come out really, really ugly when you use it this way, but it's there. It can help in a pinch. It'll help you with your profiles. Most of the time, though, if you've got myself, if you go and take a look at my own LinkedIn profile, it's very obvious I wrote the whole thing. And I've said, experimenting, hey, LinkedIn, take what I wrote for my summary and you write it instead. And it always takes out all the creativity and cleverness. It, especially LinkedIn, is going to be a lot more conservative. Like you saw, I was able to get ChatGPT to do some weird things for me. LinkedIn will not. It's all like, that does not belong here. Like, actually, it does, but maybe not to that degree. So definitely check out my LinkedIn profile because it's a pretty good example. So, in conclusion, do play around with some AI tools, but never forget that you are the ultimate expert, not only in your field, but also about yourself. So don't do something just because ChatGPT suggests it. Always make sure that you're pulling in your own personality while still using those essential keywords to either get found on LinkedIn or to survive those screening processes and all the rest of that. So I'd love to open things up to questions now.
And it looks like if you currently don't have premium and have not used a promotional discount, reach out to, that's awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, as an executive recruiter, I can tell you that we can spot an AI resume in a second. And like Donna said, the points that I just want to highlight are you do not want to spray and pray. If you're doing that, you are wasting your time. I mean, Donna brought the metrics to that of 2% out of 100. and they gave you specific information on how to leverage networking messaging and templates, that's where you want to spend your time. Donna, with your clients, how many people are you suggesting they reach out to, or how are you suggesting that they leverage their time in the best way for the quickest return on the investment?
So there's kind of like two different types of outreach we talk about. So number one is the strategic networking side of things. So that's where you're building a network of starting off with like the people you know, or people you knew from past positions but maybe have lost touch with, and then kind of expanding it out to like the people you don't know yet, such as getting involved in groups on LinkedIn or following key people and starting to connect with them there, or commenting on their posts and things like that. So that's our generalized networking strategies. The other ones are anytime you're applying to a specific position, you want to hunt down and reach out to the hiring manager, not the recruiter. The recruiter already has your stuff, and they're the ones who say no phone calls, please. It is more in line for that future boss. And those are the ones that most people start to, do the analysis paralysis on, because they're like, oh, I went to all this effort, I figured out who the manager is, I don't want to blow my chance. Does that make sense?
Yeah. A couple things. Mark is asking, do you know how JobScan compares to Teal? He's been using Teal to keyword optimize his resume against job descriptions, just as JobScan helps you do, but he doesn't have any idea if Teal analyzes like an ATS the way that JobScan does. So any insight on that?
JobScan thinks exactly like the ATS, whereas Teal is not. Also, Teal is a lot more expensive than JobScan.
Yes, that's true.
Mhm.
So one thing that I was wondering if you might provide more insight and clarity on is how do you use AI to find the hiring leader?
Sure. So it's interesting because one of the things I like to teach people is to use your Boolean search terms to find specific people. So if you don't know what Boolean search terms are, those are the examples of how do you define things within a search engine. So like putting things in quotation marks, we'll find that exact phrase. Or if you're saying you want somebody who's a director of finance and CenturyLink, for example, you can put those phrases in there instead of you having to learn Boolean search terms. Literally, the prompt is like, please put together a Boolean search term that I can use on Google to find the director of finance in Denver for CenturyLink. And then you throw that in there, and then it's because one thing that ChatGPT does real well is creating simple code. And then you'll create the code, you just copy it, you just throw it into Google, and it'll start popping actual people for you.
Can you say that one more time for people who
Yeah,
want
do you want me to
repeated?
just show it to you? That might
I
be
would
the
love that.
easiest
Who would love
way.
that? Like, I think that's, yeah. Joshua is saying yes, Mickey, yeah. That would be great. Thank you.
Yep, let me just pull this up real quick. So let's say, for example, all right, so all I put in there was, let me find a director of finance for Disney in Los Angeles. So let's see what it does. So this is the exact string. So when I hit copy the code, and hopefully you can see the new tab I threw in there. So I'm just going to paste that in here. It found me a job. It's also finding me jobs. I should have told it to find me people. But you can also put that in as a
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn string.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll have to play with it a little bit because you might need to throw in here the actual, it's saying no results found because the was a little bit too long. Because right here, it's like going, oh, it's trying to find job opening or vacancies. So if I take this part out of my code, it should be a little bit better. There they are.
There they are.
And I found their LinkedIn profiles. How cool is that? It took what? I had
Less
to do
than a
one
minute.
adjustment on my code. And then the rest of it took literally 2 seconds.
Mhm. I think that's one of the biggest questions I have is how do I find the hiring leader? So that's exactly how you find it. That's how recruiters also find you. So that's why it's so important to have your keywords right. And I love the example that Donna gave around don't just take what's generic, dig in more. And I love that they showed an example of the pilot hated it, but the pilot also got better results because of it. So these tricks and tips, I hope that you have taken away. This has been recorded. Any final questions for Donna? How many of you got some things out of today's session? Awesome. Thank you, Donna. This was great.
Yeah,
You
and
are go ahead.
I will admit too, I'm affiliate with JobScan, but again, I've been using it for our own internal purposes for years. I don't endorse anything that I don't actually use. So I'll put our link in the chat for if you want to try JobScan and you don't have an account yet. And of course, I'll put my link in here for our the free 30-minute consultation that we do as well.
Great. Take advantage of that. That's awesome. No matter who you use for resume writing or coaching, there's enough space for everyone. Donna does an awesome job, has over like several hundred recommendations on Google. I'm really so happy that we spent time with you today, Donna. Thank you so much. This will be sent out along with Donna's contact information. If there's anything that Best You Career Connectors or Best You Talent Advisors can do for you. We also offer free sessions. My coaching is much more focused on the holistic person. How do you get the right mindset? And we partner with people just like Donna to focus on the tactical pieces, but that's what you need in finding a role. So thank you so much, everyone. Really nice to see several of you. Have a great day and make it a great week. Take all these tips and tricks that you've learned and put them to work. No more spray and pray. Okay. Thank you so much, Donna. This was gold information. So nice. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I love the job scan piece and I love the question that Mark used. Nice to see you, Mickey. Bye, Josh. Bye, Mark. Thanks, Liz.